Today we're getting into the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news, including consumer reports rewarding the Model Y, FSD transfers extended by Tesla, the new and improved Atlas robot from Boston Dynamics, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Good Chop for sponsoring this video. First up today, over at Tesla, one of the best parts about their cars is that they are continually software updating them. As an owner, you get lots of features throughout ownership. And there's a great article from Not a Tesla app this past week that highlights tons of the software additions that Teslas have gotten. Many buying Teslas today or recently don't actually realize that these weren't always standard features. Instead, many of these were improvements that you got throughout ownership via a software update over the air. First up here, we have safety and security enhancements, and these were generally improved, but then the system's Sentry Mode and Dashcam actually came with a software update that utilized the existing autopilot cameras for vehicle surveillance, and now this is a standard feature. Autopilot and FSD have of course evolved, moving from basic lane keeping to complex city street navigation that it does today. Then we've seen some performance improvements like the Cheetah stance for launch mode and increased peak power outputs for existing motors. Entertainment expansions included the addition of Netflix, Disney Plus, and YouTube via the Tesla Theater, along with the Tesla Arcade gaming platform that has added and actually taken away certain games over time. Charging has been optimized with en-route preconditioning, which significantly reduced supercharging wait times, and there has been tons added to the supercharging system as a whole over time. Cabin comfort, like dog mode and camp mode, all were added after the fact, allowing climate control to remain active while the vehicle is parked. Then we've seen tons of visual and UI overhauls. Most notably was the transition from version 11 to version 12 interfaces, which introduced customizable app launchers and 3D environment visualizations. Remote access capabilities through the Tesla app have improved over time, enabling features like Smart Summon and Remote Sentry Mode live camera viewing to the app. Again, that's something that was not included previously, and then owners got this feature later. One of the biggest ones here, though, is efficiency gains. Tesla has been able to actually improve the efficiency of their cars via over-the-air software updates, which leads to a better range, and they've achieved that through updated thermal management logic and regenerative braking improvements. Overall, it's a very cool thing to see all of the improvements these cars have had over time, and there's one that could be coming quite soon here. There's a new application arriving for Teslas specifically in China that allows users to create if this, then that style routines directly within the car's infotainment system. And we're now getting a first look at the interface here. Triggers can be based on specific locations, time of day, or vehicle states, such as battery percentage or cabin temperature. And then actions include automatically opening garage doors, enabling Sentry Mode at specific locations, or preconditioning the cabin before a scheduled departure. The interface here looks very similar to the Apple Shortcuts app, which offers a library of pre-made templates for common tasks. And this is also integrated with the Tesla mobile app so that users can create, edit, and sync automations between their phone and the vehicle. Additionally, this reportedly utilizes the new Tesla LLM to allow users to set up complex routines using natural language voice commands. Overall, this is a very smart thing that will allow a lot of smart customization here. It's a great feature that I'm excited to see come, but it's first coming in China, so we'll have to wait for it here in North America, and we'll see how this Tesla LLM ends up lining up with Grok or not. Now, on the hardware side of things, across the board in certain countries, and then in all trims but the standard trim in the United States, the Model Y now has a 16-inch QHD display. And reportedly, this actually has a decent amount more pixels. QHD is better than simple HD displays, of course, but it's not just that this screen is a half-inch bigger, it actually added more pixels. You can see the difference here close up. Now, from a user perspective, in actual reviews, many have said it's not too noticeable. You kind of notice the screen's a little bit bigger, but you're not really perceiving the difference in the resolution there. But either way, it is cool to see this screen improving over time. Next up today, over at Consumer Reports, they have named the Tesla Model Y the best electric vehicle for 2026. This marks the Model Y as the only fully electric vehicle to earn a category win in the 2026 Top Picks list, but of course that category is electric vehicles. The selection is based on extensive evaluations of over 260 vehicles, focusing on road testing, reliability, safety performance, and owner satisfaction in particular. For 2026, it's the refreshed Model Y Juniper, and this vehicle, of course, features improved ride comfort, acoustic glass for a quieter cabin, upgraded interior materials, features like a rear screen, and more. Performance continues to be a standout factor for Consumer Reports, and they praised it for the car's acceleration and responsive handling. But the big thing here is that reliability metrics have trended upward, and this addresses long-standing criticisms of earlier production years. I think Tesla is finally getting away from that reputation of having production issues. But it still will stick with them for quite some time because they did go through a lot and many people experienced quite a few issues with their cars. I know I had a ton early on with the original Model Y back in 2020. In any case, Consumer Reports also recognized the supercharger network as a major ownership and long-distance travel advantage, and they noted that while the industry is shifting towards hybrids, the Model Y remains the benchmark for pure battery electric vehicles. Overall, they say that this car provides a rare combination of utility, sports car performance, and a high-tech user experience. Consumer Reports has historically ranked Teslas fairly low for a lot of different issues, so this is a very big accomplishment for the Model Y as a whole. Now, in the other categories for these same awards from Consumer Reports, we have small car awarded to the Honda Civic. Mid-size car is awarded to the Toyota Camry. Subcompact SUV, the Subaru Crosstrek, compact SUV, Subaru Forester, midsize SUV, Toyota Grand Highlander, luxury compact SUV, Lexus NX, luxury midsize SUV, BMW X5, small pickup, Ford Maverick, full-size pickup, F-150, and then electric vehicle, Tesla Model Y. Next up today, over at Tesla, some updates for the Cybercab. Tesla has been out testing a ton of Cybercab prototypes, and it's actually interesting to see how many prototypes they have there, because there's a car like the Rivian R2, which we're going to talk about later, and we're only starting to see a couple of those, and that's expected quite soon. But we're seeing tons of Cybercabs, and yes, production is scheduled soon, but the production is supposed to involve no steering wheel or pedals. In any case, from the rear here in this view, we can clearly see that the front wheels are actually wider than the rear wheels. This follows the teardrop shape of this car in a much more direct way than Tesla's cars ever have. Then Tesla had this on display at the Chicago Auto Show. This is an earlier prototype of the Cybercab, and we can tell because the windows have a frame there. They're now frameless windows, at least in the latest prototypes that we've seen. Then a couple were spotted out in the wild charging. So we're really seeing these all over the place at this point, and people have spotted some close-ups of what the prototype interior looks like with that tacked-on steering wheel and pedals. It's definitely tacked on, and they're not planning for production there as much as people want to see it. Now, the thing that this will be running on in the future is Tesla's Robotaxi network, and that Robotaxi network is operating today with the Model Y. And more people are regularly getting unsupervised rides in Austin, Texas with the Robotaxi. Here's AI Driver on X, and he got a very cool shot of one driving by itself on the road. At this point, he was at about 50% success with getting unsupervised versus supervised, but this went down to 33% in time. So it's still majority supervised for these rides, and some of these people may be getting some special access because they're interested in this. Their account is called AI Driver. They post about Tesla self-driving all the time. I doubt that it has been communicated, but Tesla could be very aware of their account and deciding to give them some of these unsupervised rides because they know they're interested and will be posting about it. All that to say, I wouldn't be surprised if someone else going there would still see the majority or all of their rides being unsupervised, but again, I'd love to be proven wrong and go try it out and see a 50% success rate or 33%. In any case, he added, I can say with 100% certainty that unsupervised cars are running a different version of FSD compared to cars with supervisors. This is very interesting to see because there are so many different versions of FSD at this point, and we know that there's additional hardware on those robotaxis. Before we go any further, I'd like to talk to you about today's sponsor, Good Chop. If you're anything like me, then you know how making time to go to the grocery store can be difficult, and then how frustrating it is when they don't actually have what you need. Good Chop is a service designed to deliver high-quality meat and seafood directly to your door. Local grocery stores often have a limited selection of meats with sometimes less than ideal quality. But Good Chop makes it easy by delivering vacuum-sealed cuts of meat at their peak freshness, so you can cook what you want whenever you want. In addition, Good Chop sources their products from American farms and fisheries, so you know that you are getting the freshest ingredients and supporting independent farms and ranches here in the US. You can customize your box with over 100 different menu items, from wild-caught seafood, USDA choice steak, organic chicken, and more. I recently cooked some salmon and filet mignon from Good Chop that turned out great. The beef was tender, and the salmon was flaky and delicious. They stand by their meats, which is why they offer a 100% money-back guarantee. To try out Good Chop for yourself, go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use code 50 Ryan Shaw, or click the link in the description below to get $50 off plus free shipping on your first order. Now for consumer FSD, we're on the cusp of this becoming only a subscription. That is coming up on February 14th. Today, you still have the option to buy FSD outright for $8,000, and this could be a good idea for some that plan to keep their car for a long time because you own this on the car and don't have to keep subscribing. But we really don't know what upgrades are on the way soon for their cars and their subscription package. Conversely, we don't know how much they'll increase this $99 per month subscription and how soon it will go up in price. So it is a tough thing if you're someone that's deciding between buying this or just planning to subscribe to this essentially for life. Eventually, if you buy it on your car, the time will run out because it sticks with that car and you won't be able to transfer it to another car or anything like that. So I guess for people that already know they're planning to use this system long term, it's a decision between subscribing today or subscribing in a few years. And then we have no idea what kind of competition will arrive. Many other companies are working on self-driving like this, and we know NVIDIA is taking a very similar approach to Tesla here. So in a few years, will there be another subscription from another company that you can get, or can you buy it outright from them and it's just as good? Who knows? Regardless, the FSD transfer process has gotten more relaxed. Before, you had to take delivery by March 31st to transfer the FSD package from a car that you have with it. Now they say your order must be placed by March 31st, 2026. For some, this could be a way for them to put in an order and delay the inevitable here and just try to put off that delivery, but Tesla always seems to enforce you actually taking delivery or they'll cancel that order in time. Now, of course, full self-driving is all enabled by AI, but the interesting thing is all of that data collection has been a big problem with them launching full self-driving in China. And now Tesla's AI training center in China is officially operational to support local assisted driving and AI application training. The activation is a critical step toward the formal development of FSD within the Chinese market, and this localized infrastructure ensures compliance with China's data security laws by processing data domestically. In time, it seems like this system could operate quite differently in these different markets. Of course, they're very different roads and they have to operate differently, but it would be interesting to see the difference of these systems trained on different data in the years to come. Next up today, over at Rivian, the R2 is supposed to come very soon. The R2 is an exciting car because it's finally bringing Rivian into a lower price range, something that can compete with something like the Tesla Model Y. As I talked about earlier, we are spotting more and more of them out testing in the wild. Here's one winter testing in Alaska and charging at a supercharger. Then one was spotted near the Super Bowl. And a close-up here shows an interesting detail that the rear windshield wiper has a spot where it tucks away. Rivian also has one on display in front of their Laguna Beach theater. Now this video is going up on February 10th, and first media reviews for the Rivian R2 are supposedly scheduled to be published on this same day. The lift of the embargo is expected to reveal final specifications, trim levels, color options, and official pricing. And then customer deliveries are slated to begin in June of this year, with production of final customer units starting this spring. So by the time you're watching this could already be out and the embargo is lifted, and first reviews might actually be out there from first people test driving the R2. Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe noted that the R2's cost structure is roughly half that of the R1 models, so this is critical for the company's profitability. Overall, this is a huge milestone, and this car is expected to be quite popular. You see it a lot from people who love their Tesla vehicle as a vehicle, but are just tired of dealing with the company and everything going on there, and they're ready to switch over to the Rivian. And then there will be plenty of people coming in new to the electric vehicle market, comparing the Model Y to this boxier SUV, and that boxier shape is very popular in the United States. So it seems that if Rivian can scale, this could cut into Model Y sales. But what do you think? Is this going to have a negative impact on Tesla's sales? Is Tesla even going to care, or are they just going to work on the Cybercab? What will be the overall effect of this Rivian R2 launch? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up, over at Waymo, they just posted about their world model autonomous driving simulator, and this is very interesting. This is something that is built on Google DeepMind's Genie 3 architecture, and this model generates photorealistic interactive 3D environments for safety testing, and they actually have examples of these 3D environments on the blog that you can interact with. This system simulates long-tail edge cases, which are rare events like natural disasters, extreme weather, or unusual animal encounters, and these are usually difficult to capture in the real world. It generates multi-sensor outputs, including both high-fidelity camera imagery and precise 3D LiDAR data. Quote, most simulation models in the autonomous driving industry are trained from scratch based on only the on-road data they collect. That approach means the system only learns from limited experience. Genie 3's strong world knowledge, gained from its pre-training on an extremely large and diverse set of videos, allows us to explore situations that were never directly observed by our fleet. In this blog post, they have some very interesting edge case examples, like, quote, a pedestrian dressing up as a T-Rex. It's also crazy to see that this not only is AI generated, but it's generated from all of the normal car angles for training. And as I said, here you can see interaction with those 3D visualizations. This offers high controllability through language prompts, driving inputs, and scene layout modifications, and engineers can run counterfactual simulations to test what-if scenarios and determine if a different driving action would have been safer. Ultimately, of course, the goal is to proactively prepare the Waymo driver for complex real-world challenges before they're actually encountered on public roads. Now, Tesla's big advantage in the self-driving space is their real-world data collection, but this is a way for Google to kind of catch up in a certain regard by simulating a lot of these situations. I guess in the near future here, we'll probably see which one does a better job. It seems obvious that real-world would do better, but maybe those simulations can prepare for situations that Tesla actually isn't prepared for. Next up, over at Stellantis, that automaker announced a staggering $26.5 billion hit for the second half of 2025 due to a significant overestimation of the global transition to electric vehicles. Their CEO admitted that the company built too far ahead of actual consumer demand, distancing its offerings from the real-world needs, means, and desires of buyers. So as a result, they're doing a strategic reversal that includes the cancellation of several planned electric models, most notably the Ram 1500 battery electric vehicle pickup. To this I wonder, is every single competing EV truck going to end up not existing soon enough? Will we only have the Cybertruck soon enough, even in a small volume from Tesla? First was the F-150 Lightning, and that is going away. Maybe the Chevy Silverado will stick around, but I assume that one isn't too profitable. Hopefully Ford ends up coming out with this cheaper truck that is actually profitable, but it seems like electric trucks in particular are a very tough space. In any case, Stellantis is pivoting back toward internal combustion engines and hybrid technology, including tripling production of the 5.7-liter Hemi V8 engine for the 2026 Ram 1500. The company has suspended their 2026 dividend to shareholders and authorized the issuance of up to 5 billion euros in hybrid bonds to protect its balance sheet. Stellantis will also sell their 49% stake in the Canadian battery joint venture Nexstar Energy to their partner LG Energy Solution. So this is something we're seeing from a lot of different legacy automakers at this point, just totally pivoting back to hybrids. And ultimately, it seems like it's going to be a mistake long term, but for now, they're losing so much money that it really was inevitable. I've kind of said this for years on this channel, that some of these electric cars coming from these companies look cool, but you just know on the surface when you see them that there's no way they're actually profitable on it. Maybe it came with a bunch of luxury features compared to the competing Tesla vehicle. Maybe it had a larger battery pack and offered more range, but you just knew it wasn't going to stick around because they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars on every single one that they make. It's a very unfortunate part about the EV industry, and it's why people get so excited about a car like the Rivian R2, even though we've already had some electric cars in that shape. Next up today, over in the humanoid robot space, Boston Dynamics posted a new demonstration video that features the robot performing a backflip immediately following a cartwheel without losing balance. This achievement is a significant agility milestone because this is the electric version of their robots, and it matches a feat previously seen only in their hydraulic predecessor. The footing and balance were maintained throughout this maneuver, but the video does highlight the numerous tumbles and failed attempts during the development of this process. Researchers have successfully trained the robot with a more natural human-like walking gait to replace its previous stiff movements, and production of the enterprise version of this robot is underway at Boston Dynamics headquarters. So this is like the big flashy feature we're seeing, but the enterprise version of this probably will be more simpler, and it's expected to arrive soon in fleets committed to Hyundai and Google DeepMind for 2026. Future industrial applications for Atlas include automotive assembly and material handling, with full-scale deployment at Hyundai plants scheduled for 2028. There will be a lot of testing in the meantime. For now, this robot features 56 degrees of freedom, a 7.5-foot reach, and the ability to lift up to 110 pounds. It's also integrated with Google DeepMind's foundational models, so the robot is being trained to handle complex cognitive and autonomous industrial tasks. This is a very exciting robot to see because they've made a ton of progress in a very short amount of time, and we know Boston Dynamics has been at the top of functionality here for robots for a long time. For a lot of people, it's just a question of the AI integrating with that, and to many, that's the most important piece. Next up, over at Apple, they're reportedly opening CarPlay to third-party AI assistants like Google Gemini and ChatGPT. A new developer framework will allow these assistants to control vehicle systems like climate and media, which is a very big deal here. The update will include a privacy layer to remove personal data before it reaches third-party servers, and this, of course, is a strategic response to automakers developing their own advanced in-car AI. Apple is responding here with something that will hopefully keep their CarPlay system alive, at least, of course, hopefully for them. This feature is expected to be a major part of the iOS 27 release in late 2026, and all third-party assistants will use standardized CarPlay UI to prevent driver distraction. Now, when we hear about a feature like this from Apple and the fact that it's coming in late 2026, it oftentimes ends up delayed. Unfortunately, I'm not too confident that this will actually come later this year, especially since we don't see this kind of functionality in too many cars yet. We have basic voice commands, but integrated with natural language with an AI assistant, like we want Grok to be in Tesla vehicles in the future, isn't really there yet. Some cars have this today enabled through Google Gemini, but as far as it arriving via CarPlay in a custom UI standardized for a bunch of different third-party assistants, I'm not counting on this year. Either way, it's cool to see, and I hope it comes soon. That's all the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest trademarks for Tesla's Cybercar, the Roadster, and more, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.